you. Yo, what is good, fam? It is your boy Trader Joe Fantasy Gorilla Show, and we are live for an auction draft. I have the strategy man right here. This probably, if I had to pick anybody in the fantasy universe to run a auction draft and to get the players that needed to be got with the perfect strategy, this is the man. It is Big Stan of the Big Stan universe, the dominator on the sleeper platform. I mean, literally like the best coach that I know in fantasy right here. Say what's up to the people, Big Stan, while I get the draft board up.
What's up, everybody?
What is good? What is good? And so this draft right here is going to be on the Fantrax platform, not the sleeper platform that we usually do, but you'll be able to pick up some insight right now on some strategy and how players need to be drafted, how to approach your fantasy draft. And for some reason, I am not seeing they haven't launched a new draft room, I guess, here for the
So is it a new? I'm in a draft room right now, and they're chatting.
Oh, so maybe if you're in the draft room, I can't be in the draft room or something like that. Maybe it's only one of us that can be in there. We're gonna run this team together.
I would imagine you'd be able to get in there.
Yeah, for some reason I am not. Let us try to fix this live on air. Chalupa Batman. Oh, here, draft room. I would just do it from my phone. So, oh, it says my draft says finished on it. Maybe they reset it. So I'm going to check this out. So while I go ahead and try to fix this, Big Stan, if you are explaining to somebody who is a noob how to approach strategy for a auction draft, what are a couple of the principles that you would lay down for them, brother?
There's a couple different ways you can go. I know that everybody likes to label me as the guy that just waits and gets good value, which that's true. I try to do that, but you can't always do that because as a lot of drafts that we've done, a lot of people start trying to mirror what you're doing. So then you got to kind of adjust.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, just in any format, whether it's snake or auction, you want to get good value. Now, like if you want to spend up and get like a Jonathan Taylor or McCaffrey, and then build around them with value, then that's a great strategy also.
Okay. And who are the targets that you're looking for this year? Like in terms of high end players, who would you spend up for in a draft? Let's give me a quarterback that you would really spend up for.
Well, I don't really like to spend up on quarterbacks. I'd prefer to get value at quarterback. Like this is a 6-point passing touchdown league, so I want to try to get like Kirk Cousins, Derek Carr. Maybe they're going to be a little bit cheaper. This is a $200 budget, I believe. So like say Herbert, Josh Allen, and some of those guys might go for like 50 or 60. It depends on what draft how much they go for, but they're going to go for pretty expensive. As you might be able to get like these other quarterbacks that will put up comparable numbers on a weekly basis, and you might get them for like half the price, or 40% of the price, because they're not sexy. Like they're Kirk Cousins and Derek Carr, though. Like in dynasty auctions, their value's been bumped up a little bit because like the coaching changed in Minnesota, and then all the weapons that Derek Carr got, and they got with the offensive coordinator, the coach from the Patriots. I can't think of his name right now. So they got a little bump, but other guys like that might be good. Like he's not necessarily good quarterback per se, but Tua will be good in fantasy. Trevor Lawrence could be good. So and some of the lower level guys, like I was looking at trying to figure out, because we got a lot of stuff to fill out on this roster. There's Superflex, so you can start 2 quarterbacks. So obviously you want to start 2 quarterbacks. I kind of look at like Matt Ryan. He's a good 6-point passing touchdown quarterback to have. Jameis Winston, he's somebody that's good. These are cheaper guys that you can get on the lower end. That way you can fill out the rest of your roster, because we have also start 2 tight ends, 3 wide receivers, and then there's 2 flex, and then there's 11 bench spots. So you want to be able to, get some of those handcuff running backs. Right.
Exactly. And so in this format is where it's a super flex format for this draft that we're going to be talking to you guys about. Which obviously, if you don't know what Superflex is, this probably isn't even the podcast for you. But there's a difference between a 6 point per passing touchdown league and then a 4 point per pass per touchdown league. And in those 4 point, or we actually run a lot of ours on our platform. We run with 5 points per passing touchdown, which is kind of right in the middle. The lowest that you get, the lower that you get in the points per passing touchdowns, the more valuable running quarterbacks are going to be because they can get the rushing touchdowns and supplement their totals with rushing yards. And so this one is a 6 point. So the stationary quarterbacks are going to be a little bit more valuable in this format. That being said, I really like, even though his price is getting inflated, I really like Trey Lance. I like the vibe. I love the fact that for a little bit cheaper, I might get something that'll rival the Lamar Jackson numbers that he could put up, and I also like, of course, Jalen Hurts because they put up the big rushing numbers. Look, I'm addicted to running quarterbacks. What do you think about Justin Fields? Do you think Justin Fields can get up into that territory because he is going for a little bit cheaper than the names that I mentioned?
I don't want him on anything. I don't want him in a 4 point. I don't want, like, so if you're gonna look at players like that, somebody I'd rather have that's cheap like that, I would just prefer to have Trevor Lawrence because Trevor Lawrence actually is a mobile quarterback. Also, he's just not advertised as that.
Right.
Um, and they're going to be down and they're going to have to pass a lot and he's going to run. So somebody that's cheap, that's probably not going to kill you a lot. And though it's small, and he kind of struggled last year as a rookie, which that's not common for rookie quarterback. But the last game against the Colts, when the Colts needed to get to the playoffs, he put up a really good game against a good defense. So, um,
Yes. Yes.
so
So he has that momentum heading into the season. He's looked good in the preseason. So we're going to take a look at targeting Trevor Lawrence. I do know this group of players that we're playing with, and I do think that Trevor Lawrence probably will go for a premium. Um, but yeah, definitely. So during this draft, we are running a co-owner. Me and Big Stan and I are going to be co-owners of this team. And he is the analyst. He is the one that actually holds the weight when it comes to the decisions that are being made. And I'm the guy that asks the questions and puts some swag sauce on what we're doing here. Fantasy Gorilla Show, Trader Joe, my man Big Stan, and we're going to rock this draft together and try to kill it. And so as you guys watch this strategy, one of the things about this man and how he runs his drafts is he's never going to be caught with his pants down with no money when he needs money. He is going to have a bag of money to get the players that he selects because he's very disciplined. The thing is, when you throw out flashy names at the beginning of the draft, rookie auction fantasy players will always be the ones to just see the shiny thing, and then all their money's gone in the first 5 minutes, and they have 3 or 4 first rounders and then a empty roster, and they got to fill it out with scrubs. And usually those are the ones who you're ended up laughing at by the end of the day. That is not something that you are going to deal with Big Stan. But he mentioned to you guys the fact that sometimes people are going to copy his style. Sometimes people are going to copy the fact that he's going to be saving money till the end of the draft, till people are because when people run out of money, there's still a lot of players that are going to be left on the board. And that's usually when he starts his run of filling out his entire roster. Now, he's going to, one of the things he's going to do is he's going to watch the room. He's going to be, there's no time that he's going to come in and have a set mindset and not be able to alter it. If everybody else is saving money and there's good values that are going at the beginning, he's going to start snapping up players at the beginning for us, which is what you are going to see. But generally speaking, he's going to have more money than everybody in the middle portions to the end of the draft. Do you think I summarized that correctly, brother?
yeah, that's perfect actually.
Awesome. So, great. So I'm seeing that they're having technical difficulty in the draft room over here on Fantrax. You see anything about that, bro?
I'm seeing a notification on my phone. It's not showing the draft room. I exited because it was saying finished, like it was on your end.
Yeah.
And then it's showing me a way to get in there right now.
And it's not showing you a way to get in there, right?
Right.
Because that's the same thing with me too. And in the chat here, it's saying that it's saying that they're having some technical difficulty and that they're working on it. You see, Fantrax is one of those sites, man. It has a little cult following. The Guerrilla Universe actually got started out on Fantrax. It wasn't started on Sleeper. But this app, man, there's just a bunch of options, but it's not very user friendly, and there's always glitches and bugs. So right now we're dealing with not being able to have the draft room open. Let's talk about the budget so we can set the stage for them in terms of the budget that we're working with. We're working with the standard, or the previous kind of standard in the fantasy universe, of $10 per player slot. That's what we're working with right here. So we have a roster to build of, what is it, 21 players or 22 players, brother?
Yeah, I believe so. I can't even pull that up right now.
22 play. Let me take a look right here. What's going on here? But
quarterback, 2 running backs, three wide receivers, 2 tight ends, 2 flex, and an 11 bench.
Okay, and it's $10 per player. So in a setting like this, what we usually do on the Sleeper universe is we do just a set $200 budget, no matter how many spots there are, and we would usually have 25 to 26 player slots in what we set up over here. So here we have like slightly a few less player spots and a little bit more money. That's not going to affect us too much on what the players are going to go for. Like, for example, Josh Allen he's the highest player, and he goes typically in our drafts, Big Stan, for about $40. How much do you think Josh Allen is going to go for in this draft right here?
So you're saying that we have $220 total?
That's correct.
Okay. Well, for one, I think that's silly.
Yeah.
200 is what it should always be. But so a lot of our drafts that we do are dynasty. This is like a 2 or 3 keeper league, which you're not going to run it much different from a redraft league. You're going to essentially run it the same. So you're not going to always spend up necessarily, because when you're going to keep players, you're going to want to keep them at value. So if you spend up, $50 on Josh Allen, well, he won't be at value. Not that you won't keep him, but you're not going to let that dictate your strategy, because it won't be any value to keep him. So if you keep him, you're going to keep him at what he's going to be worth anyway. So his price will go up.
Okay.
But I think he'll probably be around like $60, because, and the dynasty is a little bit different because you tend to have a lot more spots. Which this has a lot of spots for a redraft, for bench spots. That's what I'm talking about. And
right.
Then you have tax spots and things like that. So it's generally around like $35 to $40 for top quarterbacks like Josh Allen, Mahomes, and Herbert, which I've seen newbies will spend a lot more. But in redraft, top players are going to generally go for 50 to 60. Like in one quarterback league, generally what I like to do for redraft, Superflex for dynasty, the top players are going for 65 to 70. I think the quarterback will go for a little bit less than that.
Because hold on, let me interrupt you real quick and see if you can get into the draft room. I was able to get in, so you may want to refresh your app. They've paused it and restarted it right here. To cap what Big Stan is doing that, trying to get in the draft room here. To cap what he's saying, there's just a difference between how we approach dynasty and redraft. This is a keeper league, but you keep a few players. So we're not going to get into the whole regulations with that. Basically, for those that are listening to this podcast, this is basically redraft strategy. This is what you would get in a redraft league, is what he's saying. And are you in the draft room right now, Big Stan?
I am. I refresh it and it was there.
Absolutely freaking tremendous. Yes, that's what the heck I'm talking about. It's an honor to be with you guys today. It's a wonderful Saturday night, and we are here just chilling, rocking the Fantasy Gorilla Show podcast for you. There's going to be a couple episodes that we're going to do here because we're going to break this up timing for y'all so that you guys don't get bored listening to 120 minutes in one episode. So this draft will cover 2, and you're going to get a first row seat to the master at work as Big Stan drafts our team for the Chalupa Batman League with the commissioner as my man, the GOAT. The GOAT, my man Rob, is the hawk, the one who kills the Fantrax platform. And this is the first time that I was able to get my man Big Stan on the Fantrax platform. So I'm excited to see GOAT go head to head with Big Stan in this on this setting and on this platform. Also, big up to everybody in the league. I'm not going to go ahead and shoot names because I didn't get that cleared before we did this podcast. But I know my man Columbus King, who is a member of the league, also going to always be a co-commissioner with GOAT. I know he wouldn't mind me giving him a shout out here. He's another a very, very sick shark in this environment. And this is Big Stan's first Fantrax draft. And as he said, he broke it down that he does not agree with the extra $20. Should just be a standard 200 across the board. That really would help us too, and communicate our message in fantasy and make it clear for people. It was just kind of like an understanding that it'd be $200 every draft, wouldn't it, Big Stan?
Yeah, that's just been the standard. I've been playing fantasy football for about 12 years. I probably started doing auctions like 7 years ago. And it's just been 200. Even when I got into Dynasty auctions, it was 200. I've done some with 400, 500, 300. I did one of yours that had like 210. So basically, what you're doing, if you've been playing auctions for several years, well, you're just always going to calculate what it would be in 200, or you can calculate the percentage. But you would just calculate, okay, if this player's, if it's a $300 league, then you're like dividing it by 1.5, and what would it be in a $200 league? That way, or you can do it by percentage also.
Exactly.
So like on this one, we're gonna it looks like we're not gonna worry. We'll say 210 is like our max, and then the other spots are $1 per player per bench per se.
Yeah.
So that's what I'd be looking at. Is like we have 210. So instead of like trying to break it down, what the 5% would be difference, I will just be like, okay, every player I'm gonna bump up like $2, $3, $4 or something. So like say if I really want some player, I'll just throw some random player out I don't even actually like. Say I wanted to get Lamar Jackson, which I do like
Right.
him, but I want his price. So like say normally I'd spend like $45 for him, and in this league I wouldn't mind spending up to like 48, 49, maybe even 50, just because you
Right.
got that bump up. So it doesn't really matter. It's kind of, I feel like some people do it just because they feel like they have more money, but it's the same percentage when you break it down, and it just makes the drafts take longer. This one's not a huge difference, but like when they do 300, 400, 500, like when you get down to the lower, and it just takes longer to build up, and it makes the draft go even
All
longer.
right.
When you break it down per percentage, it doesn't.
That makes a lot. That makes a lot of sense. Now, what I'm going to do right here is I'm going to end this session right here so that we can go in for session 2 as it starts, because it looks like they're still having difficulties, and we're going to try to keep these to 40 minutes each. So it's been good for y'all to join us, and as we go into the next one, we're going to actually be starting our draft. All right, I'm going to hit you on the phone, Big Stan. 1 second. All right. Cool.